Hello everybody, my name is Jennifer Parks. I'm here with SOV Crafts. Right now I'm going to make some lotion, and instead of making the traditional lotion bars, which I usually do, I'm going to go ahead and whip some. So to begin with, I've got my body butter recipe, which, as you can see, is handwritten. And I've actually formulated this recipe based on a number of different recipes that I've found for other individuals to use. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to need a cup of cocoa butter. So cocoa butter is one of those things that is smooth to the touch. This one I got from Earthwise Aromatics. Right. It also smells like chocolate, mainly because it comes from the cocoa tree, which is basically the same. So you can use this to eat. You can also use it to make really amazing lotions and products. So let me see if I can move this over here a bit. So just a rough guesstimate, about a cup. Doesn't have to be exact. I try and get it as close as I can to what a cup would ordinarily look like. All right, I'm going to chop it up. Now, this is actually a stronger substance, harder substance rather than its counterpart that a lot of people affiliate with it, shea butter. So I put about a cup of cocoa butter in there, and now I need a cup of two different kinds of oils. So what I have selected is this avocado oil. I think it'll go nicely with the cocoa butter. If I can get it open. And I need half a pound of this. Generally speaking, or half a cup rather, generally speaking, when you make a lotion, what you want to do is put 2 parts or 1.5 part solid and a half part liquid. So that's my liquid entity. And then the other one I wanted to use was raw mango butter. And this is another great source. I've never used this before, so I'm going to see how it turns out. I'm always interested in trying new things. So, this needs to drain more. Just leave it there. So as you can see, similar to what shea butter looks like, it is actually very raw and unrefined. So it's going to come to you in little clumps like this. That's perfectly normal if you get it from the right source. If you want your organic source. But we just need about half a cup, of this. And that's probably too much. So I'm going to put it in with the rest of the mixture. And then I'm going to put it on my water, which is currently boiling. And I'm going to let that melt down. Now, while it is melting down, let me clean up my station a little bit here. And I'm also going to cut up some vitamin E tablets and place the oils from those into the melting pot. And the reason I can do this right now is, number one, I have time, but two, it's not going to matter if the actual substance itself gets introduced with heat. Because it is an oil, it's not going to evaporate like essential oils will. The fragrance from essential oils, if you add it too soon, you will lose that fragrance. It's just going to burn off. But so vitamin E I like to use because it's really great for healing scars and healing skin, and then protecting it as well from the sun and other sources that can potentially harm the skin. It's also really great for healing scars. I have a recent scar and I've been putting it on there, and it's been helping it grow, helping the good cells grow around that area, and it's been protecting it, which I like. So, and healing faster. All right, so now because I'm doing this for myself, I'm using a different process that I don't ordinarily use. Basically, what will happen after this is I will take this mixture off heat, and I will put it in a container, and then I will blend it so that it is whipped. And that way I can put it in a jar instead of putting it in a mold for bars. Now, let me find what I am looking for. You can use a whisk, or you can use an electric one, and I'm trying to find the parts of the electric one, but I'm having no success. So it looks like I will be doing it by hand. Now, the choice of essential oil that I'm going to add to this is the Melrose blend from Young Living. So I'm going to keep that there. I'm not going to add any coloring. The coloring I usually use is, it is food safe, it's gluten free, it's vegan, so if you're cooking with it in the kitchen, it's not going to be toxic for your other foods. In fact, if you look at all the stuff that I'm using today, all of it is edible, from the vitamin E to the raw unfractionated cocoa to the mango butter and avocado oil. All of that is edible, so it will not cause any issues for your kitchen further down the road. Now, if there was something like beeswax in whatever I'm making, or just soy wax if I'm making candles, that could potentially be a whole other story. Right? So I try and keep myself cognizant of which sets of equipment I'm using at a particular time. That way I can keep the stuff that is food friendly in one spot and the stuff that is not food friendly in another. And then that way I'm not mixing the two and causing potential health issues because of ingestion. So this looks like it's melting down really nicely. Yep, we have a little bit to go, but we're going to need to keep that on the heat. The boiling water, if you turn off the burner, I'm actually using a gas stove, but if you turn it off, the water will remain hot enough so that this does not harden, so that I can add in the essential oils afterwards. And what I'll do is I'll put it in the little Tupperware container that I am using, and I will wait for it to cool down to the point where it's starting to solidify, meaning it's starting to harden. And you'll see the color change to it. It's not going to stay this dark color. It's going to come out sort of like the raw cocoa butter color, right? So like this color. That's how it should come out, I think, because the mango butter is white and the avocado oil well, that's got a green tint to it, so it's kind of like olive oil. Other carrier oils that I used to use in a lot of my different products that I make is grapeseed oil, olive oil, coconut oil. But the problem is that sometimes it's really hard to find people that are not allergic to coconuts. So if I make a batch with all of those ingredients in it at one point or another, I don't feel comfortable telling someone this is coconut oil free, and then it has, in all actuality, it has little traces of coconut that can potentially cause issues, major issues for someone with an allergy. So this does have avocado oil in it, but I find that less people have allergies to actual avocados versus coconut, which is one of the reasons why I'm making it with this. So this looks good. I'm going to turn the burner off so the water stops boiling and it stays relatively heated. While it cools down, the essential oils will actually help cool it as well. But I'm just putting in about 10 drops of that, and I will stir it. Right, and then I'll pour it in my little container. So, now one thing to note, whenever you use oils of any kind, you do not want to flush them down the drain, because it will clog the drain once they harden, solidify. Same with wax. Wax is a really dangerous kind of clogging entity. It will not be good for your drain. It'll clog it up, and then you have issues trying to get it out. So as you guys can see, it's sort of just a mixture between like an olive oil shade and a cocoa butter shade. And the goal here is to wait a little while before it will actually set. Because there's so much in one tiny area, it might take, I don't know, 30 minutes. It might take an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this here. And if y'all have any questions, just please let me know. And I'll be back shortly with the rest of the process.